Okay. SPY keys still stuck in this range, falling back under the previous day high. Apple is showing me some relative strength here, pre-market. I will be watching Apple here. Let's see what Apple does. I can't take that first 2 minute candle though. That's just a hard rule of mine. So if we get an instant dip and rib, I'm gonna have to skip that. But I think if this thing can go on Apple, it might fill that gap. Yeah. Already sell off here on the video. This thing's going for the previous day low right now. Now, yeah, watching a video here. SPY and Q's back under the previous day high. Let's see what we do. Being a little bit more conservative here on Tesla just because it has like this inside bar day. 385 got respected very nicely though here on Tesla. You got SPY and Q's. Well, SPY's back above the previous day high. I'm already on Tesla contracts. I'm SPY here too. If SPY can get above 740, that's a range break. I really don't want to touch SPY until we break this range. That would be the top of 740. So either we're gonna like push into that and reject, or yeah, watch SPY here. SPY gets over 740. I like that. SPY's like leading the markets here, so I'm more so focused on that because I don't want SPY to push up into the 740 reject and then Q's follows it. And then difference between SPY and Q's is if SPY does break this, it's breaking outside of the range. Q's will still be stuck in the range here. Yeah, you can see SPY pushing up into this general supply area on 740. And now you're starting to see a little bit of rejections here. You can see very strong open here on SPY, but up into the 740, it's a key supply area at the top of the range. So not too surprised if sellers are stepping in up here. This market's still in this range here. Really need a SPY to get above this 740. So really didn't move too much from Friday. And the video almost filled this gap on that downside. Still got a gap here on SPY, still got a gap here on Qs. Tesla price action's just been trash. So it's definitely trying to respect and hold this 385, but those big wicks, I can't touch that. IWM rejected the top of the range. Just looking for that. Bro, Amazon just keeps sneaking away. Yeah, market's trying to pull back here. There is some relative strength here on Tesla. Can watch Tesla here. So maybe look this previous day high for continuation. I would just be cautious with this price action. I'll look at today's expiration here on Tesla. I would have a hard stop at 5%, -5. This sets up. We held 385 very well, but did not touch that. Now I'm watching Tesla here. Let's see what we do. All right, we just swept the previous day's high. Really just relying on this by itself. Market's still stuck in this range here. All right, yeah, I'm looking at the 387.50 calls here on Tesla. Obviously, I need more displacement here. So, give this a shot. Yeah, watch Tesla here on this retest. Yeah, watch Tesla here. Strike price might change. I'm looking at the 387.50 calls here on Tesla. I like this candle to close. No buyer step in. Yeah, not a single buyer stepped in there. Let's see. We reclaim this with some momentum. Could still be the same contracts. It's very volatile right now. It's got to be news. That would have been a nice reclaim entry. It's just very, very volatile right now. Go watch NVIDIA here too. NVIDIA price action looks a little cleaner. You can also watch SPY if you can get over 740. I'm watching Tesla. These candles are just crazy right now. Yeah, that would have been a nice reclaim entry. So that ended up playing out pretty well. I can take that on a zero with Tesla. That was all part of the retest. So that was very nice on Tesla. If you're able to catch that. See what NVIDIA does here. Yeah, that was nice on Tesla. Yeah, watching NVIDIA here. Tesla's just kind of all over the place. So Tesla did give you that break and retest above the previous day high. That was a nice reclaim entry with momentum. Just kind of let FOMO kick in. I'm watching. So SPY is leading the market here. SPY is way stronger than Qs. So if SPY can get over the 740, it's a range break. Watch SPY, watching NVIDIA. I'm looking at NVIDIA right now. I'm looking at the 195 calls here on NVIDIA. 195 calls here at the money. Out of the money, those contracts aren't even $1, and the delta's at 20. So at the money, 195 calls here on NVIDIA is what I'm eyeing. Need a little bit more displacement here on NVIDIA. About a 30-ish cent breakout. You can see SPY rejecting the top of this supply area right here. And that's why you wait for more displacement. Yeah, see, SPY's like leading the market. It's kind of hard to go long here with SPY pushing to supply area. We need SPY to break this though. Right, Tesla was really the only name we spotted showing relative strength compared to the market. I ended up just skipping that trade. That was tough price action to read on that reclaim entry. It was very wicky before it ripped. Tesla's pushing into a key level here, 395. So if you're wondering what I'm looking at here on NVIDIA, it's just kind of hard for me to go long here with SPY pushing into this key supply at 740 because NVIDIA is just moving with SPY. SPY's leading the market here. Yeah, we had like a 30-cent breakout here over the previous day high. Body of the candle closing right at this 985. So you can see sellers keep stepping in right here. So I would like a little bit more displacement here on Nvidia anyway. Yeah, just tough read here on Tesla. You can see we did hold our 385. You did get that break and retest over the previous day high on that reclaim entry. Just tough read. Telling you those wicks on the zero is like negative 10, 15% instantly. So yeah, you see SPY just rejecting the supply area. So Nvidia is doing the same. Yeah, we're at the top of the range, so I'm not too surprised. If Tesla wants to give us another setup, I'm gonna watch this 395. Yeah, that's a big risk, like a rejection on the dot here on uh on SPY. Yeah, look at that. SPY didn't take that on the video. It's a big rejection there on the SPY. Yeah, we talked about this. So either SPY's gonna pull back and reject this again for a reversal, or you're gonna get this breakout here. You can clearly see there's a lot of buyers sitting at this 739, pretty much the top of the range here. Only name showing some relative strength here is Tesla. This dip did get bought up very aggressively though. That right there, it did get bought up. Now I'm more so focused on SPY. I'm not a reversal trader, so I'm not looking to play the rejection here at 740. You can see we're pretty much just trending here. We need a break and retest here. Yeah, I'm watching SPY. Either we're going to reject the supply here or we're going to get that continuation. SPY's the one to watch here. It's leading the market. If it rejects, we can really pretty much just see a pullback down. I hope this read here makes sense. All we were doing was looking at SPY. That's all we were doing. Tesla was solid over the previous day high. I just couldn't take that. That price action was very wicky before we ripped. Yeah, NVIDIA's rejecting pretty heavy here. If you just zoom out, you can see NVIDIA, we had that peak and fell very strong here on Tesla. You can see SPY rejected the top of the range on the dot. And you see Qs is pretty much just following. So yeah, not the best price action here on Qs anyway, still stuck in that channel. As you can see here, SPY was my close spot. I mean, look at that. That is textbook. Just got to be patient. Can't let FOMO kick in. 740. That is the top of the range. And you can see we are rejecting that right now. We're just waiting for that. We still have this entire gap fill back from last week. So just can't let FOMO kick in. The only setup that I really saw here was Tesla. And that was just a tough read. Nothing here on the video. SPY rejected by 10 cents. By 10 cents. You had that double top. Like I said, I'm not a reversal trader. So nothing I was really looking for. The game plan breaking retest over 740. But you can see very strong supply area. That's what you're seeing right now. And now everything else is pretty much just following. Only name with like relative strength today is Amazon, which never really gave us a retest off of anything. And then Tesla. I really wanted this on Tesla. I just couldn't take that. Yeah, big rejection here. So right now, as you can see, it's just SPY. SPY is moving the market. Right, NVIDIA is falling, Qs is falling. SPY is just moving this market. If we do stay heavy here, we can look for a break and retest under the previous day low here on NVIDIA. We never got like a break and retest back under the previous day high on NVIDIA to play this downside, but we'll see what we do. Inside bar day here on NVIDIA. SPY is still stuck in this channel. Q is still stuck in the channel. IWM. That coming into today, if SPY does reject, SPY and Qs does reject here, top of the range, we can see a pullback here and pretty much just fill the gap back down to the downside. Yeah, crazy, right on the dot, that rejection there. Just have to be patient. I mean, you can see Qs is just stuck in this channel as well. So we're just ranging. Not even a single up close candle here on SPY since we rejected the supply area. I don't really care to play off this previous day high here. Like I said, this is really our no trade zone. As you can see, I have labeled here on SPY and Qs. They'll be taking a trade in the middle of the channel here. So we needed that range break on SPY. See, heavy rejection on SPY. Let's see here. IWM's getting a little heavy. 296.08. Send alert here on IWM. Could break the bottom of the range here. Three eighty, 394. So now I kind of just expect SPY to pull back here, just back down to the bottom of the range. 4 out of the last 5 days, we've rejected this 740. It's a big wall right here. Our previous day close is around here, so we do have a gap here in the overall market to the upside. And we might hold this previous day high. I don't feel like we're extended here in Tesla. 295. Yeah, almost like $15 if we break over 295. Yeah. Damn, Tesla over the previous day high was solid. I'm gonna watch Tesla here over this 395. It's just still showing a lot of relative strength here. That's 2 days in a row on Tesla. Reject our daily resistance, but let's see here. Section on IWM. Small caps is a little heavy right now. This IWM. A lot of these names are really still holding this range here. You can see IWM stuck in between 300, 396. I'm sorry, 296. Heavy buyer stepping up here, this general demand area. Yeah, Q's rejected pretty heavily. Everything's kind of falling right now. Yeah, IWM kind of bounced off this general demand. It's in a downtrend, but pretty extended. Some tough reads. I took an order block entry here on SPY for like a 6% trade, but I don't want to call that out. I like IWM. Really just trying to catch a falling knife here. Yeah, that was a good trade on SPY. I wasn't looking for too much here. Pretty much a 1R. Yeah, that was solid. Let's see. You could watch Qs here too. Give me a sec. Yeah, if Qs can break 704, it's a demand area. Qs can break it. Go watching a video here. I'm looking at the I'm looking at the 192.50 puts here. Today's expiration on the video. If I take this, stop loss would be -5, so it'd be like a break-even day. I ended up getting roughly a little over 6% on that scalp on SPY off that order block. So ended up being a pretty decent move. I just understand where I'm trading into that lower day. It was an over 1R trade, so I'll take it. You never really got that. I was looking for this break and retest back under the previous day high here on SPY. You ended up getting a nice displacement candle here, but you just never got the retest. And then obviously we're in a downtrend, so this was our first up close candle in this nice downtrend, and you can see we broke, retested that, and a straight flush. So it was a solid trade. I'm just trading in the middle of a zone, so that's not really something I care to like hold on to and look for crazy continuation. I was watching a video here though. I'm watching this. It's crazy. The video really went from breaking above the previous day high. We're into the previous day low right now. But like I said, it's just following the market. IWM broke the range. See if you can get a pullback retest here on IWM. You end up getting an instant break and retest. No longevity in that. You'll get faked out more than you'll win. You need way more displacement. So that's solid displacement here on IWM. This is solid displacement here on NVIDIA. You can see it's bouncing right now with Qs. I'm sorry, with SPY. I would watch SPY here. I mean, NVIDIA. I would like a deep enough pullback here. If this thing bounces though with SPY, I'm kind of hands off here. Really just looking for that. Looking for that. Qs is sitting near 704. So this bounce we may be seeing might be from Qs in this general demand area, the bottom of the range. It's a strong level here. Every time we felt this, you can see we've just bounced back up. So the market's ranging right now. This pullback you see, it's we just saw a SPY that rejected the top of this range here, which is insane. We were there by what, 10 cents? Yeah, by 10 cents. Insane. Yeah, the next key level on the video is way down at 185 on the daily. So you can watch this previous day low retest here on the video. I think if Q's gives up the 704, we see a bounce. I'm sorry, we could see a very heavy downside. It would be a range break. Yeah, we really didn't get, yeah, we didn't get anything like off. The only good looking thing was setup that was occurring really was SPY over 740. SPY and NVIDIA, but mainly SPY. Right, SPY was like my main watch, number one on the close watch list coming into today. It's the only thing. So what's going on in my head, just how I'm reading this is on this pullback short, if it sets up on NVIDIA, this is what makes it a little tricky, right? Because Q's is holding the bottom of the range, just general demand. So it's like if we bounce, that's really what we're seeing. So it'd be hard to see a pullback short off the previous day low if Q's is holding the bottom of the range here, bouncing off of that. That's kind of just what I'm looking at here. I hope that makes sense, just based on the context. You can see SPY starting to really bounce with this Q's. Right, that's a solid hold here on Q's, this general demand area. So it's like you don't want to short against that. Deeper the pullback, the better. Right, and this is why you judge your trades based off of like R multiple and not P&L. Because if you see something like this, you're like, man, I left so much money on the table. But once I was up, over 1R, I was aiming for a 2R, but right, I'm shorting into this lower day. So I sold into that momentum push, looking for a 10% trade, but still a really good trade, right? If you just judge it based off your R multiple. So for me, it's like 1.5R trade, which is a quick scalp. Like you got to understand location, right? Very different if we were taking a trade off the break and retest at the top of the range that we were looking for. But I'm just trying to catch a ball and knife, get paid, not look to hold too long, and then go about my day. So like I risk 5% to make a little bit over 6%, if that makes sense. So roughly a one to one. That's how I'm judging it. Yeah, so NVIDIA, I'm just not too intrigued because I'm looking at Qs here on this 15 minute, and this thing's holding very well. Big buyer stepped up here at the 704. And you can see IWM, NVIDIA, and SPY simultaneously all starting to bounce at the same time, same location. So this is like a really good example on context matters here. So I would feel better, shorting NVIDIA under the previous day low if Qs gave up 704. That wasn't the case. So you see how we broke that down before it even set up? And this is why, right? Look at that. We held the bottom of the range. Very strong demand area here on QQQ. And then what's starting to bounce? Everything with it. So those are the little things that matter that helps you, right, avoid fake outs, avoid bad trades. Like you'll get a break and retest. And that's what I mean when I say know the difference between missing a trade and skipping a trade. So I know I'm looking for the retest here on the video, but that's just a trade I decided to skip because Q's is holding this demand area 704. And you can see everything right now is just bouncing with it. So if Q's gets under the previous day low in 704, now I'm more so open to shorting continuation to the downside here. Like I don't care too much to short that. What Q's holding this. It's still an inside bar day here for Qs. We actually did fill the gap, as you can see. So still in between this previous day high, previous day low, and I don't want to short into a demand area here. It was different on SPY, right? SPY is moving the market, it's the NDC himself, but very different. So Tesla pushed up into our 395 resistance. You can see rejected that. We almost had Tesla, right? I was definitely looking at this over the previous day high, especially after I saw it hold my 385. Just can't take that entry. Beautiful reclaim entry here with momentum. That was a straight shot. It's probably 100% trade to be honest, but this was a tough read. It was a very tough read. So if it's a tough read, just don't fall into it. Remember, you don't have to take a trade. Let's see. That might be all she wrote for me. I'll put my entries and exit here on SPY and the profit thing. Yeah, Q's is holding this very well. Yeah, these are zero. See what I mean, guys? Like that's just seeing Q's, push into a general demand area, and you're like, all right, well, like a common sense play, right? It doesn't make sense to go short into a key demand where buyers keep defending and pushing price higher. Even if it's not on the name itself that you're looking to trade, it matters on the market too. And look at SPY, look at IWM, look at NVIDIA, right? All these names right now. It's not a coincidence. It's in correlation in time with Qs, bottom of the range here. Very, very simple. See what I mean? That's a good little fake out. Maybe if you're trading a zero, a great little scalp on a momentum flush, sure. But you can see good little fake out, and now you're reclaiming the previous day low. Because like, if you want to take a trade with Qs holding the bottom of the range here, this would be a valid play, right? Break and retest back above the previous day low, and then you'd just be getting that stair step higher, pushing back up to the top of the range. Or you could have played the reclaim entry, however you would want to look at it. But it's all based off Qs right now. Nice peak and fell here on the higher time frame on IWM. The same, still very bullish to small caps. You can see reclaim ripper right now. NVIDIA reclaim ripper. So all right, look at the lower day here. Basically, 190 on NVIDIA, and now we're back at what, 192? So, and all that's doing is just looking at the overall market. Right? You really want to build a habit of before you take a trade, you got to look at the market. If I'm taking a trade, it's relative strength compared to it, relative weakness compared to it. Is it in sync? If it's in sync and we're approaching a key resistance or demand area, I might sit on my hands a little bit. Right, Tesla, we were looking at that at open because we clearly saw the relative strength on Tesla. I just couldn't get an entry. Yeah, solid here. So at the end of the day, really didn't do too much. Tesla was very nice, but even if it was a cash day, it was a good cash day for you. Like if you go, like when in doubt, zoom out. Like we didn't do anything. What the market did was fill the gap that we created. Previous day close, just right here. Look good. SPY rejected supply area. Everything pulled back. Everything filled the gap. And then what do? We just hold this demand area bottom of the range. So we're just ranging. We didn't do anything. The only thing we did was fill the gap, basically. But these are the plays that gives me conviction and confidence. Like seeing these reactions off of 740. Like I said, out of the last 5 days, we've touched this 4 times. Heavy, heavy sellers every time we step up here. Heavy. Today's a great example. By 10 cents, we were off. So I'm just waiting for that. Patient pace. Just let that come to you. And then if this sets up tomorrow, great confluence. Why? You're over the previous day's high. You're breaking a channel. You'll be making new highs on the week. Like those are confluences. So we know 740 is our key level to watch here. If you watch the weekly outlook coming into this week, we're ranging here on the weekly time frame. Dang, Tesla's still going. Yeah, I feel like Tesla's just very extended right now. Yeah, big buyer stepping up here off of 704 on Qs. We're already at almost 712 now. Went from 704 to 712. Spike is back over this previous day high. We could definitely see a push back up. So right now, Qs is, moving the market. You can look for this retest here on Tesla over 395. I don't really want to be cute. I'm pretty big on one and done. I feel like we are a bit extended here on Tesla. This is where you really want it to be long for obvious reasons, right? You get long here, stop loss below here, and now you see we're already at the top of the range here on Tesla. Yeah, big reclaim ripper here over the previous day low. You never really got to pull back here to take a shot. Just rejection, reclaim ripper. So it's a big trendy day on Amazon. It just never gave you an entry off of anything. I mean, you can even look for the reclaim here over the previous day high on SPY. It's a crazy, yeah, it's a crazy dip. It's an insane dip. That's insane on the video. Got this break and retest back over the previous day high here on SPY. It's a big day here on Tesla. Yeah, the best trade was down here on Tesla because I noticed this trend line break on Tesla. I was watching. Was this? Yeah, it was like roughly around this previous day high area. Where is it? Yeah, it's a big deal here on Tesla. All you got to do is look left. No coincidence. 368. We hit at the bottom last week. We held this very well. We got the break here. We got the retest here. Led to all-time highs. So we defended this 368 very well. So could you see something like that? Maybe. All right, watch that 395 now for this week. I definitely want Tesla, but it's all good. We got a quick little SPY trade. I don't really want to call out this order block anyway. I'm just gonna put on the risk. Let's see. Kind of a crazy day. Like on the, and that's why it's very important to zoom out. Like outside of Tesla, on the 1 minute, it may look like, lots going on, which yeah, it is, but when you get the higher time frame objective and picture, really not much has occurred. We just filled the gap. Previously closed us down here, but we're still in this channel. So right when you look in the video, definitely gave you, and this is why I say, like, know your identity as a trader. I'm not a reversal trader. It definitely gave you some opportunities here off the previous day high. If you know liquidity, right? Whenever we sweep the previous day's high and we fall back under, sellers are likely to push the price right back down to the previous day low. The same trade I took on SPY last week, but I'm not a reversal trader. So that setup, we swept the liquidity here. We fell back under. We just never got a retest off of that, but That's the general idea. You can see you had a reclaim entry as well, back over the previous day low. But when you zoom out here and you look in the video, we really haven't done too much, right? Inside bar day. Same here on IWM. I was watching this on a range break to either side. And you can see we just held the bottom of the range here. You never got a retest off of 296, so a peak and fell. But we're still in this channel. So that's why it's very important to like have multiple time frames up when you trade, because when you're so focused on 1 minute, it looks like a lot's going on or you're missing out on so much, but that's really not the case. But it's going to be on the radar this week, that's for sure. That's pretty much 2 days in a row. Yeah, we definitely broke this downtrend. There's no doubt. You can see that on the 15. Held this very well. Friday was a very big day. Break above the previous day high, another big day. So we'll see here. It is Tesla though, so you never know. No, Tesla looked good. Yeah, wish I could have got that. Yeah, maybe it. Yeah, today was a really good day. I'm really reading the market here. We avoided like two fake outs here on the video, right? You got the break over our key level. I never went long because SPY was pushing into a key supply area. What happened when SPY rejected and the video followed? You got a very nice displacement, previous day low. You're looking for that retest. Avoid a fake out here. You may think, all right, cool, hammer stick candle. Look for that. We avoided that. Why? Because Q's held bottom of the range, 704, key demand area, and a bounce. And you can see that's exactly what we ended up doing here on the video as well. So today was a really good day on just right reading the market, focusing on context. Really were no setups. The best looking thing I like probably would have called out was uh, Tesla, right? And we had our contracts ready, just a tough read. Then I noticed we're in this downtrend, a lot of red down close candles. We had our first up close candle here. So in this order block, no, I'm sorry, in this order block. Sorry, in this one. So break, retest. I just took that. That was about it. So really not too much today. Nice break and retest here on Tesla over 395. So you don't let FOMO kick in. You always wait for the retest. I know something like this may cause FOMO when you see like a crazy rip. The deeper the pullback, the tighter the risk. So that's a beautiful break and retest 395. That's straight upside. That's a big trade right there. You don't need the whole move. Already like a $2 move here within basically 2 minutes. So key level is just being respected, right? Break, retest, very nice. Yeah, SPY's back over this previous day high. I see a push up in a 740. So crazy V-shaped recovery. I will say that. Pretty much, yeah, more than 50%. So insane here on the video. Not a single down close candle in this push back into the top of the range. We went from 191 to 194. Insane. Beautiful day here on Tesla. And you can see here, body does wish of the damage, body shows the story. So on Tesla, you only got at least here like a 50-cent breakout. That's all you got. So after this displacement candle, then I was looking for that. You really want to focus on those things. That's how you avoid fake outs. But you can see we basically just had a break and then base and then we went. And then we were reading this for our entry here. I was looking at the reclaim entry with momentum, but it was super wicky before it ripped like that. It's crazy volatile. Let's see. What time was this? Yeah. So good day here. Definitely gonna call it. The video over previously, I don't like it too much. I just feel like we're pretty extended. The best tech name today was Tesla. Yeah, around open. SPY was the main focus. Looked like we were gonna get it. Just a nice stair step. Once I saw this dip, it bought up that aggressively. I definitely thought we were gonna get that. Pushed into it. We missed it by like what, 10 cents? And then we rejected. So good stuff so far. I'm happy about the recovery, and we filled this gap early in the week, which is good because we gapped up coming into today. So 740. That's the main thing to watch this week on SPY. That's the main thing to watch. For Qs, 704. Qs 704. So today we saw the power of a demand area and a supply area on SPY. So these are really our key levels to watch. Either, we just bounce in this for the remainder of the week, or we get a range break to either side. Now, that's really all we're waiting for. But, today, that's something to note early in the week. That SPY was moving the market. So 740, that's our key level here to watch for this week. That's our main focus. Let's see what we do. Other than that, that is about it. Yeah, give me one sec. I want to see Tesla here on this daily. Yeah, 395 is going to be the key level tomorrow on Tesla. Even if we close under that, it's going to be that. If we pull back and hold this, right, today we got the break, so I wouldn't be surprised, but I like this long better. It's a trend line break on the daily. We can see it push back up in 416. Tesla was really just stuck in this range for a while. So I would want to get long here at the bottom before we make our way back up. So 395 is like that main level there. Yeah, good stuff today. Definitely going to call it here. If it was a cash day, good. Don't beat yourself up. Really wasn't too much today, except for Tesla, to be honest. And that was just a very tough read. At least for me, I'm speaking for myself. That was a tough read over this previous day high. I saw the reclaim. It just started to get very wicky on its way, and then it just ripped. And then I don't want to chase that and get a late entry, so it is what it is. So good day today. Gonna call it here. A lot of key lessons. I'll definitely upload this session, and I will see you guys on the next one.